actually in this year, BGB has already made a 6 all-time high this year, just this year itself. Like last year, I was telling my friend, you should buy some BGB. BGB is like the next BNB.
What kind of aspect of product you are focusing on more to keep your edge against the other exchanges?
If you believe in the long-term value of Bitget, you should hold BGB. And that's indeed why we see those increase since last year until today, because Bitget has been growing tremendously in terms of our trading volume, in terms of our reputation.
I wanted to ask you about how does it feel being a woman in crypto?
I hope we don't ask questions like, how do you balance work and life to a female leader?
Yeah.
Why? Because this question is asked so many times, and you don't ask a question like that to a male, right?
From TV host to crypto trailblazer, Gracy Chen wears many hats. But what drives her passion for crypto? And how did Bitget become a game changer in the industry? Join us as we uncover the stories, insights, and the woman behind the success. Before we get into my discussion with Gracy, remember that we don't offer any financial advice on this platform, but we only share information. So any investment that you make, especially in crypto, you need to do your own research, very deep research on whatever you are investing, and take responsibility, because it's down to you how you manage your money and you take risk. And remember that crypto is very risky. So important that you understand that. Now, I wanted to do a deal with you. If you like the content that we create, if you find our interviewee interesting and you want to see more from us, we definitely want to do that. But we want your support. So please click the subscribe button and follow us on social media, not only to stay up to date with our news and interviews, but also to support us in our journey to create a bigger platform, invite many more interesting guests, and help us to grow our community. This is the deal that I'm going to propose you. We are fully committed to grow the FinancialFox, but we need, in order to do that, your support. So be part of our community, and I'm going to make sure that we will deliver more than what you expect. I come from the place where you always under-promise and over-deliver, and we have been already doing a lot for our community, and we want to do much more, but we need your support in order to grow. So I hope that you're going to become a member of our community. I'm building a FinancialFox club with much more value that we are creating for our community. So I want you to be one of us. Hi, Grace. How are you?
Great. I'm good. Thank you. Hi, Steffi.
It's great to have you on the show. So let's kick off with your journey into crypto. So what drew you to this space?
Sure. My crypto journey started in 2014 when I was a TV host. I was interviewing some business leaders such as Tim Draper, who's also a big celebrity in the crypto space, while some other more like Hollywood celebrities such as Tom Hiddleston and Michelle Yeoh. So in 2014, some of my TV friends started asking me, Gracie, you should check out crypto. At that time, I think Bitcoin was only worth about 300 USD. So I started to buy some major cryptocurrencies such as BTC, ETH, and XRP. Actually, only these three. And then I became an early investor in Bitget, which is also known as Bitget Wallet right now. And I got to know the Bitget team through this investment. And I think, yeah, so I'm more of an investor or at beginning TV anchor, amateur investor in the crypto space. And earlier last year, I joined Bitget because I realized all the money that I kind of gained for the past few years are from my investment in crypto. So rather than just investing my money in the sector, I also want to invest more time in this space.
Yeah, 100%. But I get, where you're coming from, because getting into crypto requires lots of education, and being a journalist, being a TV be presented. You have to prepare yourself when you are interviewing a guest. So it's some kind of like doing your own research. And that's very important when you enter a new space. And then, obviously doing your own investment, being successful, then probably you ask yourself the question, you're probably doing something right. So why not stepping up to the next level and get involved in some business operating in the space?
Exactly.
So are you more like a Bitcoin fan, an altcoin enthusiast, a bit of both? What's your crypto flavor?
Honestly, I hold lots of Bitcoin and Ethereum, the majority of my crypto portfolio. But for altcoins, I also do some investment. I bought a little bit meme coins. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of meme coins. They establish like very, well-established community, and many people buy meme coin because they trust in those value and community. But for me, I'm more interested in projects that has fundamental value, who are really building something. So for example, I'm from Bitget, so it's not surprised that I'm a big fan of BGB, which is our platform token. Actually, in this year, BGB has already made a 6 all-time high this year, just this year itself. Like last year, I was telling my friend, you should buy some BGB. BGB is like the next BNB. And they just didn't. Like not everyone did, but some of them they did. And right now they thank me a lot because it's just growing tremendously since last year, which was traded at about $0.1 right now, slightly more than 0.5 USD. So within a year, it sees lots of gain. And I see lots of potential of this token in the future, because I know at Bitget, we are really building something, and we're making Bitget one of the largest crypto exchange. So my portfolio honestly consists majority in BTC and ETH, a little bit parked in USDT and USDC, because right now, Bitcoin price is traded more than 35K. I think there are potential opportunities when it goes down a little bit. I want to buy more Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some other in altcoins, including BGB, which is our platform token.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, myself as well. I'm mainly Bitcoin. I have a bit of Ethereum and Cardano, but mainly Bitcoin. I would say it's 80% or 85%. So, I know what
you're saying.
In Bitcoin specifically. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but when you come, during the last cycle, I was first in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I went into some altcoin 2021, 2022. They were okay. And then when the bear market started, to see there was a bear market, I exit those and I go back to Bitcoin, because I knew that is the place where, some value will hold much better. Yeah, interesting, more in Bitcoin than Ethereum. But I'm interested about BGB. So let's take a step back. Tell me the story of Bitget, and then you can build on that about the token and, tokenomics and function within the platform.
Sure. Bitget was funded 5 years ago during the bear market, actually the last very deep bear market. We had, like, our founders had a belief that Bitcoin and blockchain is going to change the traditional finance industry. Like, many of them actually come from traditional finance, like wealth management and the secondary market trading, etc. So our team, they really believed in Bitcoin and blockchain technology. And in 2018, they were so intrigued by the potential of cryptocurrency after studying the Bitcoin white paper, Ethereum ecosystem, etc., that they believed crypto will play an important role in the future and benefit the unbanked groups, etc. However, just like right a few months after the company was established, there was a huge market crash, which chased away lots of speculators. And at one point, like when we were really not seeing lots of gain from the market side, and also we are kind of running out of the fund that we had in the company, the founders actually thought about closing the company, closing Bitget. That was in 2018 and 19. I'm glad that they didn't, because in 2019 there was a product that took off, and our trading volume suddenly grow from just a few hundreds to multi-millions. Right now,
Wow.
Bitget's daily trading volume is multi-billions. So looking at that number, back in 2019, when that product worked really well, it was nothing. It is nothing now, but at that time it was a lot. That meant a lot. And so that's how we kind of survived the bear market. We upgraded our product. We had a much bigger team, and we continue, insist on putting users first, focusing on product innovation, and advocating our long-term prospects with the spirit of this, running a marathon, stay in the bear market. And that's the kind of spirit that Bitget has. And that's also something I really appreciate about the company. Many people say Bitget and FTX is a little bit similar because we are stronger in derivative market. We both started in 2008, 18-19, but we are actually very different, because to me, FTX is more like a short-term runner. It's like a sprinkler. For us, we consider entrepreneurship and starting a company more like a marathon, like a long-term runner. So if you look at how we do businesses, for example, BGB, our platform token, the higher managers really sell it, even if it's unlocked. Like, I need to buy BGB in open market as well, but I'm a holder because I believe in the long-term marathon running spirit of this company.
So tell me a bit about the utility of BGB.
Sure. So yes, BGB is more used on our platform. Like right now, there are a few exchanges that you can trade BGB, including not just Bitget, but also other exchanges like MEXC, a few more. So in terms of utility value, we encourage our users to hold and use BGB when they make trades on Bitget. So for example, if you are a BGB holder at a certain percentage, it depends on like what is the trading activity, but sometimes you get a discount in terms of trading fee. Sometimes you have to hold BGB in order to participate in Launchpad and Launchpool that we have. Not every project requires that, but some projects that do. And then if you hold BGB more, you also get a better rate. For example, when you do staking and earning with us. So basically, this is a token that is utilized in many smaller sectors at Bitget. And also, if you believe in the long-term value of Bitget, you should hold BGB. And that's indeed why we see those increase since last year until today, because Bitget has been growing tremendously in terms of our trading volume, in terms of our reputation. We were much less known before the World Cup and before last year. But basically, we've done lots of activities to increase our reputation, increase our trading experience, increase our product offering, increase our listing. For example, we right now offer we have already listed, I think, 500 plus or 600. The last time I checked was about like nearly 600. So I think right now, maybe it's more than 600 already, but around 600 tokens listed at Bitget. So these are all different activities that we've been doing to drive the platform.
Super interesting. Well, I remember the first time I came across Bitget, it was in Paris at the Blockchain Paris Week.
This year?
Yeah, it was this year. And then again, I met your team at Jitex in Dubai. And yeah, I could see that actually the project has grown. Yeah, okay. So BGB is the native token of the platform, is a kind of like a reward token, or, like a VIP pass if you hold it to have a better trading experience. And I'm interested about the product that Bitget offers, because you mentioned that you are trying to stay at the forefront of product offering for your user. So what kind of aspect of product you are focusing on more to keep your edge against the other exchanges?
Well, honestly speaking, I think all the exchanges offer more or less similar products. For example, spot market, derivative market products such as proprietary perpetuals. Some offer options, but we don't, because options is a relatively, complicated product for retail users and for users in general. I myself don't even trade options in traditional finance market because it's a little bit more complicated. But basically, similar products among all exchanges. What we want to focus on more, honestly, I would say, is not just about product. It's not about product offering. It's more about security, customer protections, reputation. And when it goes to product, it's probably like some smaller areas such as UI, UX, and how our users have a better user experience. And for spot market, what are the tokens that we want to list that is uniquely valuable? What I mean by that, let me give you an example. So earlier this year in March, or actually before March, Arbitrum, right? ARB. So this is a new layer 2 project this year, coming up this year. Actually, they have been building in the space for a long time. Yeah. But earlier in February, we saw lots of on-chain activity through Dawn Analytics and some other aggregators that Arbitrum ecosystem is thriving. But at that time, Arbitrum doesn't have their own token. Later, they issued ARB, but this whole story was before they had their token listing. So we were discussing in our team that, okay, we know some users are very interested in buying ARB related or Arbitrum related tokens, but they don't have a token. What should we do? So we approached their the projects that are building on Arbitrum. For example, GMX, which is this DEX that constitute about 80% of the Arbitrum volume. So we talked to GMX and some other tokens, and we listed about 10 Arbitrum ecosystem tokens before Arbitrum even have their own token listing. Wow. So the story here is in March, when lots of people wanted to capture the gain of ARB, of Arbitrum token, they actually started, either they need to trade on DEX, on decentralized exchanges, or some other smaller platforms, or they can only do it at Bitget, because we are the only centralized exchange that has this portfolio of Arbitrum tokens listed, which is what I mean by uniquely valuable asset. So later that of course brought us some volume in terms of trading and users, but more importantly, let us see, how important it is to have users being able to buy these uniquely valuable assets, such as Arbitrum ecosystem, and we can list the token or sort of capture that gain before some other exchanges. And we also listed Pepe 3 weeks before Binance did that. Yeah. And some other examples. So if users bought Pepe when we listed it and maybe sell it when Binance did so, they actually have a pretty good gain during just within 3 weeks. So we and like our team putting lots of effort in that.
So it looks like you are acting like the same mindset that RVC will do, kind of like identify the project and then be the first one to get into the game. So then you can capture on the value that builds up over time. That's very interesting. So you mentioned about, before we were talking about different exchanges, they have been building the layer 2, like Coinbase and Binance, and then some other they are looking to do that, like OKX and Kraken. And is that something that Bitget is looking to get into, kind of like build your own layer 2, or you prefer to work with partners and develop that kind of partnership ecosystem?
Yes. So for layer 2, we are not issuing something like a Bitget chain, not for the moment, but we do work with lots of layer 2 projects very closely. Some of them we are investors, some of them we are even like incubators, so very closely work with each other. I do think layer 2 is a very important infrastructure in blockchain and for the whole ecosystem. But strategically, we are not issuing our own chain, I would say. Yeah. But there are projects that we work very closely with that are more like sister company or we're like very good friends, but they don't belong to us.
Yeah, super interesting. So you have also a VC sister company that within the Bitget ecosystem that invests in infrastructure. Am I correct to say that?
Yeah. Or actually, I can put the name on that. So Foresight Ventures, this is a investment company like a crypto VC that we are their largest LP. Limited partners. So we put some fund in them that they did investment. So for example, recently they just acquired the blog, the media, and then they also have invested in many projects, including a layer 2.
Okay, super interesting. So let's go back to customer protection, because you mentioned that earlier as being one of your top priority. I would like to move the conversation a bit on regulation. How do you navigate the evolving regulatory landscape? And what role do you see a regulation playing in the crypto industry?
Yeah, so for regulations, I guess there are different angles. One is from, governments. So for example, the US has SEC, CFTC. In Singapore, there's MAS. In Europe, there's MiCA, the framework that is regulating crypto industry. In Dubai, you're going to GTEX, right? So, in Dubai, there's VARA, etc. So all these regulatory institutions and entities, they are regulating the crypto industry. And for us at Bitget, we want to be compliant as much as possible in each region. We do talk to some of those institutions, and I have a big compliance team. I'm talking about I think like more than a dozen of team members in our compliance team who are, processing all these. And we pay close attention to all the regulatory frameworks that we want to make sure that I think the regulatory environment is becoming more and more matured for the past few years. And there is huge probability and potential in certain regions when they have clear and especially friendly frameworks towards cryptocurrency, towards blockchain, and towards innovation in this space, which we want to make sure that we capture some of those potentials. That's one angle. And another angle, I would say, for recent, especially for the past few months, I guess one big topic is about Bitcoin spot ETF, led by BlackRock, Fidelity, Wisdom Tree, all these big financial institutions, which, in my opinion, spot Bitcoin ETF will be approved. It's not a matter of yes or no. It's just a matter of when. Very likely next year, maybe January, March, April-ish in 2024, that Bitcoin spot ETF can be approved. That's my personal opinion. That doesn't represent Bitget. I have to say that, yeah. But basically, with spot Bitcoin ETF being approval, it can reduce the investment cost, it can increase liquidity, and it can improve the price tracking efficiency as well, and also meet stricter regulatory requirements. And then that opens the door to many, give more accessibility and acceptance of Bitcoin to especially traditional finance industry and institutional investors. I think spot Bitcoin ETF is a very important topic, and it provides a convenient and direct investment channel to those investors, especially institutional and maybe some high net worth individuals. So this is another topic from the regulation angle, which is very, very important, and that can boost the total market value of crypto blockchain industry as a whole.
Yeah, 100%. That's just the beginning of what is going to be also something that many people are already talking about, which is the tokenization of real world assets, which is another trend that trying to take the value of blockchain and bring it to digital assets. What are your thoughts on tokenization, and does Bitget has got any plan to get into the space in the future?
Yeah, so for RWA, I guess this is another very interesting topic. Like the so-called the real world asset. So for us, we think if once the spot ETF is approved, the RWA, well, spot ETF, Bitcoin spot ETF is actually one of the RWAs. So this can increase the Bitcoin price. It can attract institutional interests, and the tokenization of real world assets, including Bitcoin spot ETF, including the US T-bills. This will be very beneficial to them. And some projects such as Compound, MakerDAO, which are builders in the RWA sectors, these will benefit as well. And we are offering earnings and staking products to Bitget users, which is also another form of RWA. Yeah, so in general, we do have some placement and the strategic point of view in RWAs. Depends on which one. So we are more working on the staking and earning product. So for example, if our users hold USDT on our platform, they can get a return. So more like some relatively simpler RWA products.
Okay, looking at the next year, perhaps, what is your strategy? Is there any specific project or any specific product they are looking to add to the offering, or anything that you are focusing on? And then maybe also expanding the long-term plan for Bitget. What Bitget want to become, want to be, where want to play?
In the long run, we want to be a bigger exchange. That's simple and straightforward. So we want to be top 3 in spot market, maybe in 2 to 3 years. And you probably have seen Bitget has growing a lot for the past few months and past 1 or 2 years. And we are on this trend of, growing, and we hope we can continue to grow to be a top tier exchange among all the markets, or like generally in different markets around the world. So our key differentiation factors, I would say quite a few. So we talked about uniquely valuable assets and how we offered Arbitrum ecosystem tokens more than any other exchanges, how we listed Bitget before Binance did that, etc. So that's one thing that we focus, especially like our research team, look at all these on-chain data closely on a daily basis and make sure that we can list those tokens as and capture the game. And another differentiation factor I would say is probably around copy trading. So copy trading is something that we launched in May 2020. So we were among the first exchanges, first centralized exchanges to introduce copy trading features. And since then, we have offered the services for more than 500,000 users who have made over 55 million successful trades. And Bitget is one of the largest, or probably the largest, crypto copy trading platform. And if you saw, Binance actually just did it within 1 or 2 months this year, but we did that far back, like more than 3.5 years ago. So copy trading is one thing, and we're continually innovating on copy trading product, which, by the way, I haven't explained copy trading if someone have never tried it. But basically, this is where you can copy trade an elite trader. So there are so many, professional traders and investors in the space, and they open up for subscription. And if you are more comfortable with just investing the money with no leverage, you can do spot market copy trading. And then if you want to have some leverage, you can also do futures copy trading product. So this is copy trading, and that's something that Bitget is pretty good at because we launched it very early. We're putting lots of emphasis and research into studying how the elite traders and their subscribers incentive can be aligned so that the elite traders want to make money for their subscribers as much as possible, etc. And this is also like a social movement that people get to share more information, and study together, and talk about, do our own research, and find the alpha or investment opportunities in that space.
Yeah, it's very important. It's kind of like a way to educate yourself, be in the community, exchange ideas, and look at what others, they actually are successful, they are doing. So it's definitely a very interesting area if anybody interested in crypto trading. Always remember that crypto trading is very risky. So we never offer financial advice on this channel, but we just share information. And finally, Grace, I wanted to ask you about how does it feel being a woman in crypto? Because this is kind of like an area that is interesting to me, because you go to many conferences and you see the really women leaders, entrepreneurs in crypto. There are not so many. There are lots of marketing, PR, and business development, but really about driving this space and being a woman is still quite challenging, like, maybe is still in traditional finance. If you have to comment on that, and also perhaps give an advice to other women, they are in the space and they maybe wanna step up and take bigger responsibility, what your advice would be?
Yeah, it's a very good question. When I attend those panels, very often I'm the only panelist on a panel, like who is a female, and we just can't deny the fact that this industry is still like a bro culture. It's mainly dominated by men. It's a boys' club in general, but still I see many very talented female leaders. So as an advice, if I can give advice to maybe two groups of people, number one is to those more like audience or just journalists in general, is I hope we don't ask questions like, how do you balance work and life, to a female leader?
Yeah.
Why? Because this question is asked so many times, and you don't ask a question like that to a male, right? To a guy.
100%.
You just ask female leaders this question. I think that's basically unfair, and it also means that we tend to think that women should be more focused about their family, etc. And it's hard to balance. It is hard to balance, but guy doesn't need to balance. They need to balance as well. So get rid of a question like this is a good foundation already for us not to compare men and women in this way, in terms of how to balance work and life, how to manage, a big team, how to get investors, etc. Just ignore the gender in this scenario. And then if I can give advice to female leaders or just female employees in the space, I would say, even if you have imposter syndrome. By the way, I don't know if you have imposter syndrome, but I did, because sometimes I feel, for example, when I was on those panels, like I was the only female leader, I could feel I could be on these two bipolars. So at once I felt, oh, I'm so good. You see, I'm the only female here and I must be very talented. And another Gracie is saying, no, you are just here because they need a female, just for the representative, or you're here because you're okay looking and they want to hear, a female talking about things. You're just here because you're a girl, whatever. So these, like, I'm not worth it. So these two voices struggle in me. And that's called imposter syndrome. So for any female leaders, if you do have those different, conflict voices, battling and saying you are not good enough, just live with it. Don't think too much and just let it be, let it go, and believe in the fact that you have the ability. And I hope that our industry don't judge female just by performance and judge males by potential. There is a tendency, and statistics show that guys are more overcompensated comparing with girls, and even in some universities and subjects when we were young, like STEM subjects is perceived to be, more of a guy subject. I actually studied STEM. I studied applied mathematics in undergraduate. And I then studied at MIT, which is supposed to be, one of the most technical school in the world. But I survived very well in those STEM subjects. So believe in ourselves. I hope that's something we can learn from each other, and we can support each other for.
Yeah, I think supporting other women is really important. I always see there is, when you go in a group of women, there is always jealousy and which you don't find in the bro culture. They all try to help each other. They are all mates, where in the women group, you always find a kind of jealousy. And I don't know why, but I think this is probably something that we shouldn't let in, because we need to be united to be stronger. Sometimes I never had the imposter syndrome, but in my career, what I had is that maybe at the beginning I was more insecure. And when you have to step up and say no, because you are in front of all these men, then you don't make a point. You don't say, no, I think it differently, actually. And I think my point is quite fair, and I think you are wrong. I think that was maybe where I was kind of lacking. And because you have got so many people, so many male just telling you that's the way to do it, you are not strong enough to break that. And where if there will be more women actually supporting your point of view or the way you work, or, you feel surrounded by warm vibes, then you might be more stronger. I mean, that's kind of like my experience. But yeah, definitely, I agree. We need more women, and we need to believe in ourselves much more, because we add something unique to the table that, especially when it comes down to managing teams, I think women has got something that is quite special and that you don't find so easily in men. Gracie, thank you so much for coming on the show. Talking to you has been great. And I think we share lots of very interesting aspects of what Bitget is building, and seems that you are well placed to be the next big exchange. And I wish you all the best. And I hope that you can come back soon on the channel and share more success with us. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you, Steffi.